Hiya! So today I'm going to be doing the Meds 100 Heads challenge, started by Ahmed Al-Douri on YouTube. I wanted to do this challenge because I was already trying to draw a head every single day of the month of September, and it was like 11 days left of the month, and this challenge is to draw 100 heads in 10 days. So they'll try to go out with a bang and get the motivation to finish this challenge by adding another challenge on top of it. There's a particular Pinterest board for this challenge, so it's nice not having to think about what portrait to do next, but just to flick on and just do it. I'll leave a link to that in the description. I started off in the first 2 days getting quite a lot of them finished. I think in the first 2 days I got 39 of them done. It might make more sense to do 10 a day because that divides up 100 into 10 days equally. But I wanted to get as many as possible done at first before I ran out of steam. And then once I did so many at the beginning, I got really warmed up into it, and then later on I could take a bit more time with them, with each one. Watercolour wash was a fun experiment. The first layer I left out all my very favourite ones, and then did a second layer leaving out my second favourite ones. So the ones I liked the least were pushed way into the background, and the ones I like the most are the ones that stand out to you and that you really notice. One great thing about the Pinterest board for this challenge is how many old men's sculptures there are. I've never drawn from sculpture before, but it was a great exercise, and because they're sculptures you don't feel under so much pressure to try to get the likeness right. I mean, I didn't do that for half of these anyway, but I think that doing a few old men's sculptures is a great way of warming up and loosening up, and something that I'll continue doing in the future for warm-ups. This was the first larger or more fleshed out and properly coloured one in the challenge, and because I was in the mindset of just doing lots of quick ones, not putting too much pressure on myself, doing that one with the mindset of not having too much pressure made it turn out like really nice, and I was really happy with it, and sort of just experimenting with different media. I'd never done a portrait in that way before, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Started by outlining some stuff in Ballpoint pen. I actually mentioned that one in my previous video, and the next one that's going to appear on this page, there's a whole video about that particular drawing and the process behind that one. Started off this piece wanting to do another mixed media with lots of water-based materials portrait, like the previous two, or three. I did start off that way, but I couldn't get enough darkness, or at least I wasn't in the mood for it, because it would have taken a lot of time to get such darkness with the water-based materials I was using, but with acrylic it's dead easy. I tried my best, but then I just swapped to acrylic because I thought I could get much more depth and it would be a lot more fun. I suppose can't just keep doing the same medium for too long in a row, at least for me. I get a bit bored, and then it feels like you can't achieve the same as you did before. It's fun to experiment with lots of different things. After the second day, you know the page with the blue watercolour wash? Next day after that, where it was the half red, half purple, I feel like that was like the best day for the quick sketches. After that they sort of deteriorated a little bit. It was like in the middle of the challenge, when I'd done the most practice in one day, that it was the best. I guess it shows the value of doing lots of warm-up. Obviously not every day you can do quite that much and take that much time. Yeah, this is my first time doing alcohol-based marker portrait in a long time. And something I've been seeing people doing was using coloured pencils for the sketches underneath of portraits, or just any drawings with alcohol-based markers. And it did help for not having it look muddy at the end. Finished the challenge, that was the 100th head, and I did finish it within the 10 days, but then I knew I could make it better and build up the skin tone a bit more. So I carried on working with it the next day, but I just had to stop recording on that day because my sister wanted to go to sleep. Challenge complete. It's finished now. I finished it yesterday, so now we're going to look at all of the different pictures from it. That was the very first one. This first day was in pencil, Just getting used to it. Oh, that was one of the dolls. I realised that I really didn't like the ones with dolls. That was right at the end of the day and it was late, and so I wasn't very happy with that one. I did a redraw of that one later on. Oh, there, that was the redraw. I feel like it came out a bit better than when I first attempted it. And then this is the second day. I tried to get as many done as possible in the first few days, so that then when I later on in the week when I ran out of steam, it'll be okay. I think that is one of my favourites on this page. I just really like the energy. There's some really tiny ones, but it's quite nice and gestural. He looked like a pirate. Going in with ballpoint pen was really good. It sped me up. I couldn't like take too long on it. Actually, when I got to like here, sort of like here about, I set a 5-minute timer for each one. And sometimes I went a little bit over, sometimes I was a little bit under, but the timer helped to get through them and to loosen up and just not worry too much about how it was, and not be so precious as with the pencil. This day I allowed myself a bit more time. I still set the 5-minute timers, but then if I went considerably over on a lot of them, which made some of them better, but because I was already loose from the day before, it turned out I really like that one. And I was really realising something that I know a lot of people draw like lots of like girls, but I never really did that. I had a style where I would draw big noses on purpose and like really like prominent noses and everything. But this was the first time trying out, you know, just drawing loads of like really pretty girls. And I realised, oh, it's actually pretty fun. Just as fun as what I was doing before. So that was cool, new experience. Don't know what happened with his head. Yeah. So these two was warm-ups, and I was like, I'm not gonna put any pressure on myself, but I'm trying to do a bit of a bigger one, a more finished one with more colour, because there's been a lot of just sketches, like really quick sketches. And this is what happened, and I was so happy with it. It was mixed media. You can find out more about the process of that one and what materials I used in the Instagram post about it. That was the one that inspired the next day's one. I wanted to try to do that again. Got through a lot of old men sculptures on these 2 days. And then it's all surrounded and there's just one girl on it. I don't know, to that day I felt so rusty, like none of them were coming out very well on this particular day. None of the like quick sketches anyway, the 5-minute ones, but then the more finished piece came out grand. But probably doing them and getting out some of the less good artwork that day helped with then doing a nicer one. Just get warmed up. Again, realising drawing dolls with like those big eyes and stuff, just it wasn't the thing that I enjoyed the most. Drawing all the old men was actually more fun than that. Her eyes are not quite right, there's something off about that. It was sort of fun doing the colours, but I didn't like that as much as some of the other ones, like this. I prefer this style and the more the roughness of that than something so trying to be so clean with that one. I like some things about it, but I prefer this and like the acrylic paint and sort of all the different colours that you can get and the depth that comes from that. That was the first time doing an acrylic portrait in a good long while. This one was a redraw of that, and this one of this one. I think the reason I like this one so much is because it reminds me of a friend's art style that I really, really like. Her paintings are beautiful. She actually recently started a Redbubble. You should definitely check it out. I'll put it in the description. It's called Oceana Orla Art. And this was the final day. Really hope you enjoyed watching this process and all of these portraits. I think that I learnt a lot from it, and if you try it, please show me what you create, because it'll be interesting to see how you interpret the same references. Next week's video is going to be about what I learnt from drawing a face every day of September. But until then, bye bye, hope you have a good week.